And so today we're continuing our 90-day success challenge, and we'll be talking about consistency. So we'll be discussing what it means to be consistent in our action and in our habits. So once again, thank you for joining us. We are Agape and Akin. We live in Airdrie, Alberta, here in Canada, and we are digital entrepreneurs. So like I said, today our topic to share with you guys all over the internet is consistency, the power of consistency and its role in achieving success. So let us know.
We've got so many people joining us on
TikTok. So thank you for
joining us. I could see one name there, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And let us know where you're tuning in from, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. We would love to get to know you guys, to know where you're tuning in from, so we can know how global we are. Yeah. So what does it really mean to be consistent in our habits and in our actions?
If you know what it means to you, you can type in the comments so that we can all share our understanding or perspective, and just learn from each other.
Yeah.
So when it comes to consistency, wow, that's a big word.
It really is just doing something over and over and over again until you are successful in it. So an example that comes to mind, for instance, is maybe losing weight, because this is the journey that we have been on in the last few months. We have been trying to drop some weight. And so what we find is that if we're not consistently, going to bed early, waking up early, and getting our workout in, and also being mindful of what we eat
and the portion.
Very important. Then of course we can't see the result that we're striving for, right? Yeah. So what we decided to do after going through that for months and seeing that this is really not working the way we wanted it to work, we decided to join an accountability group.
Yes.
So because for us it was important. Our health is important. Important. Living healthy, living fit is important for us because we have 3 growing kids, and we want to be able to keep up the energy to be there for them, to be present for them, to be able to attend all of their school activities and stuff.
And not too tired in the evening.
Exactly.
At 6 p.m. knocked out. No.
And so we joined the accountability group now, and we've seen much better success in the last 2 months because now we know that, we have to be accountable for what we eat. We have to be accountable for weight, doing our workouts in the day and all of that, right? So being consistent in your action and habits just means that, first of all, you determine what it is that I want to achieve. Now, if you want to achieve something, you don't just achieve it in 1 day or 2 days. It does take time. So you have to keep doing the action plans that you've written down for that goal. You have to do them consistently on a daily basis. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't do it, maybe if you miss it on 1 day, then that's the end of your goal or your dream. No, you just pick up back from wherever you are. Be honest with yourself and say, you know what? I really want success in this area. So whatever it takes, and what it takes is repeating that action over and over.
So is there anyone watching live or the replay? What goal did you set for yourself, and how did you achieve it? What did you do? Because that would also help us and help any other person on our page to see the dynamics of, we are all striving towards something.
Yeah.
And then how did we overcome that?
Yeah.
So please, you can type in the comments so that we can read what exactly did you do. For instance, our first daughter, she's learning how to drive. And over time, driving becomes an habit.
Oh, yeah.
I love driving. So it's as simple as that. So we remind her, you need to,
go out there and practice.
You can't be watching driving videos on YouTube or playing games of Formula 1 and then say, hey, I know how to drive.
You've got to get out
Action.
there, action. Yeah.
Action.
And take
Action
action.
builds the habit, and
Yeah.
then it helps you go further.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, so also
Yeah.
let us now zone in on the challenges.
Because listen, if you have never tried to achieve a goal, then maybe you won't understand. But if you've ever set a goal for yourself, you know that the moment you set a goal for yourself and you decide that you want to achieve this thing, boom, challenges start to occur.
You'll be tested.
You'll be tested, that's for sure, right? That is when, for instance, like for us in our fitness journey, the moment we say, oh, well, you know, this is the food, like we prepped, for instance, on Sunday.
I'll tell you, I'm laughing.
We prepped on Sunday and we have our food for the week. But as soon as you do that, the cravings start. Like, I am not even somebody that craves things at all. But this week I've been under immense attack. Like, I crave just things that I'm like, I want to eat this thing. I'm like, you know, you can't have that, right? And the funny thing is, even the foods we're eating, like they're the normal foods that we eat, is just that we've portioned it in a certain way, and we used less of some of the ingredients that we normally would use for our foods. So it's not like, you know, the foods we're eating aren't delicious or anything. They are delicious, but we made a plan to not eat outside of this plan for a week, and boom, the cravings start. So there's no time that you actually set out to achieve a goal that there won't be challenges. There would always be things that crop up. Maybe you fall sick and you're like, oh, now I can't go out and go for my walk because I'm sick. Maybe like me, the weather changes. Well, and as soon as the weather changes out there, I'm like, you can go for a walk. I'm going to do my indoor walking. I'm always, you know, and then for someone like me as well, the moment I started my workouts, my knees that were okay just before started to ache and give me all kinds of signals and signs and reminding me how old I am. And I'm like, really?
So,
you know?
So now let me now tell you guys, this is where I've been laughing since. The moment we decided to go on this journey, you know, we are learning from professionals. You know, we got a mentor, we signed up, we paid, and all of that. Fine. I started getting coupons. If you know what I mean, coupons of new recipe or new product from, you know, the fast food joints, and they give you sweet deals. They're like, I need to try this. I need to try this.
Yeah.
So that is just showing up and popping up every now and then. And then the way our human brain works is it wants to keep you safe and keep you where you used to be, which is the comfort zone.
Yeah.
But
hi, Redmond.
How do you fight that temptation? How do you fight the urge to stay on track?
Yeah.
So those are the things we are talking about, the real practical challenges. So in the comment section, please let us know, how did you practically overcome these challenges, and how did you like walk over it, so that we can all learn together. Because I am not a superhero, I'm not Superman. Those coupons are looking at me and I'm waiting for the end of the challenge, and like, okay, I'm gonna have a taste of that, but I won't go back to my old ways. Instead of eating one food donut, I could say, oh, let's share it into two, and that's it.
And that's the thing, unfortunately. Like, so Aki always likes to look for
trouble.
Well, not trouble, but he always wants to involve me. Like, I'm pretty good, and I'm not, you know, praising myself or anything, but hey, I'm pretty good with keeping to a plan and stuff. But then Aki's like, okay, we finished the plan yesterday. We have a couple days, you know, of break. Why don't we just quickly eat this, have a taste of this? And before you know it, it's like, okay, well, let's have the ice cream then. Let's have this. I'm like, you know, I'll always support you in whatever you do, right? Just the same way you also support me.
But the difference is we've come, you know, far, such that instead of drinking ice cream, 1 cup of ice cream, we might just do a quarter.
Yeah.
But that taste is changing and gradually going away.
Yeah.
But we are not the same kind of persons that we were before we started.
Exactly.
So when you start noticing and being aware of, oh, when did I start?
Mhm.
How far have I gone?
Yeah.
Then you start seeing the 1% change every day, 1% change every day.
Yeah.
In 1 year, that's 365% change.
Yeah, and another thing with overcoming challenges when it comes to consistency that we have found works for us is remembering your why. Right? Remembering why you wrote down that goal and you wanted to achieve that result,
Yeah.
right? Because coming back again to our fitness journey and everything, every time we remember the reason why we wanted to lose weight or we wanted to be fit or whatever, it helps us to stay on track, to be honest. And then, like, this is our round 2 of this particular plan that we're doing, so we lost a significant amount of weight in round 1. So anytime we reach for something outside of the plan, we're like, hey, remember, it does pay to keep on this track. Because listen, if you keep on this track, you will lose that amount of weight, or you would, achieve that result in so time and everything. So, and we did like was it 9 weeks? Yeah, we paid for the 9-week program, and the reason was because we knew that if we did it for 3 weeks, we would easily fall back to our old ways. If we did it for 6 weeks, maybe 50-50, but after being accountable and changing your ways and being consistent for 9 weeks, we feel pretty confident that we won't easily fall back.
Yeah.
And so we're trying our best to be very honest with ourselves, to be very, very, diligent and consistent. So the consistency is like, I think it was last week when we were on break, I found that I wasn't sleeping as early, I wasn't waking up as early, and that affected me doing my workouts and having energy throughout the day. So I had to say to myself, hey, if you don't want to recede and go back to where you're coming from, you've got to remember that this thing works and it's for your own good, right? So what we found works is remembering your why, and using that to motivate yourself and say, if I just keep on this, I will achieve that. And oh, what joy if I achieve that, right? Like, just make yourself happy with the result. We like to say something like, spend time with your future self.
Yes.
So imagine me, like, sometimes I stand in front of my mirror and I go, wow, if, like, could you imagine I'm looking at myself now and my stomach is just so flat? I mean, I've been carrying this extra pouch for what? Almost 10 years since I started having kids. But how nice would it be for me not to have all that extra weight and everything? But now, this is just us talking about our current goal that we're working on. We've worked on so many things, and consistency has been the one thing that kept us, achieving our results.
So baby steps is also very important.
Very important.
Baby steps, and the expectation that I'll get there someday, I'll get there someday. And I've seen some of our mentors say, rich people plan for the long time. That means they plan for 10 years, 15 years. And those who want it quickly, you quickly get a result, you can crash back easily because you have not developed or you have not grown up to that level. So we want to leave with you 1 or 2 stories of how some known names that overcame and achieved their goal. One of them is Tyler Perry.
Oh yeah, I love Tyler's story. Like, for me, it really sometimes isn't about the person and what they stand for or anything, but sometimes you look at what they've been through and how they came to be who they are, right? And so for him, we were watching, his documentary the other day, and it really struck us that, everybody sees success, or they see a person and they're like, oh, that person is lucky, or that person, is fortunate and everything. Happens. Yeah, but you never really know the backstory,
what they did.
Yes. So for him, he put on a show for 7 years,
7
and
good years.
Nobody would come to see this show. And he knew in the bottom of his heart that this was what he was meant to do. So, I mean, if you know the story, you know that there's more to that. But he knew in the bottom of his heart that this was what he was supposed to do. But for 7 years, no result. But he kept on doing it. So he was doing it consistently because he knew that this was what he was meant to do. Then on the 7th year, boom, his show sold out. And up until today, his shows and his plays and his movies keep selling out because he was consistent. He overcame all the challenges, all the things that pulled him away from his goal, all the things that pulled him away from his vision. Something he knew that, look, unless you don't know.
Yes.
But if you do know, then
stay on course.
Stay on course.
Because there was one particular in that documentary, there was one particular night he actually wanted to just give it up and change his address from this motherhead to, upstairs. But he had given up. But he still, and I think the next day,
it was the very next day.
Very next day he got a call.
Yeah.
What if he didn't pick the call? What if he had handed it the night before? So there is going to be those down days, down moments, down nights. So how do you remain?
Yeah. And I remember even when we started back 5 years ago with our new business, we have also demonstrated consistency even in the area of knowing that business really is the way to build wealth in this world. Period. Right. And so we've been trying different businesses, failing in some, building some, having to close down some, and all that for the last 15 years before 5 years ago when we found this one that we're currently doing, and we've been consistently doing for 5 years. So what we found was that because we knew, right, we kept on the path. So for the first 1 year, and for anybody who is starting a new business, don't let anybody kid you that, as soon as you start business, then your life is going to just blossom and change. No, it's going to require time, effort, and that test to know that, do you really want this thing?
Do you really believe in what you're doing?
Yes.
And can you wait for the result when it comes?
And so for us, for the first 8 months, we were on one spot. We weren't moving. Nothing was moving. And we knew, we were so excited. We were putting in the work. We were showing up on our business page. We were paying for advertisement. We were doing all the things that could lead to success. But 8 months, we were in one spot. It looked like nothing was happening. And on the 9th month, boom! It was like we didn't even know what the heck hit us. It just boom, and from there it kept going and going, and we hit 5 figures, we hit 6 figures, and it just kept going and going. And today we're living the life that we dreamt of 5 years ago when we started. And so that is just the power of it, is knowing, because like I said earlier, if you don't know, then it's a different conversation.
You really need to know.
You really need to know. So whatever goal you write down, whatever it is you put for yourself, you've just got to sit with yourself and say, do I really believe in what I'm doing? And if I do, then I better just stick with it, because it will pay off. It will. We've seen stories and stories, and even for us as well, we've seen the results of it. And we just wanted to encourage you guys out there to hang on.
One more thing is, so now that we are here, how do we still keep going? Because we still have bigger dreams. It gets bigger. We want to do so many things, We look at the successful people, and we became friends with them. So we remind ourselves that, hey, we are still going to that level, to that level, to that level. So, and then we remember their story. We ask them, what did you do to get to this point? Their story, where they are today, what they did. That's how we keep going. And we are not giving up. We are here to stay. So if you want to join us in